Charles Jones, better known as Julio Foolio, was a rising star. He was a rapper from Jacksonville, Florida. Foolio was known for his gritty lyrics and raw talent. He rapped about the streets. He rapped about the struggles of his life. His music resonated with people. They connected to his authenticity. Foolio was gaining recognition. He was on the come-up in the rap game. He had so much potential. Foolio's music was more than just beats and rhymes. It was a reflection of his reality. He grew up in a tough neighborhood. Violence was a part of life. He witnessed pain and loss firsthand. He poured his experiences into his music. It was real, it was raw, it was Foolio. His breakout hit When I See You put him on the map. The song was a street anthem. It showcased Foolio's storytelling ability. He painted vivid pictures with his words. Listeners were drawn into his world. They felt his pain, they felt his anger, they felt his hope. Foolio was building a loyal fan base. He was on the verge of something big. He had the talent, he had the drive, he had the story. But tragedy struck. His life was cut short. The streets he rapped about ultimately claimed him. June 23, 2024. It was supposed to be a night of celebration. Julio Foolio was in Tampa, Florida. He was celebrating his 26th birthday. The air was thick with anticipation. Foolio was living it up. He was with friends. He was enjoying his success. He was on top of the world. But danger lurked in the shadows. The party moved from club to club. Foolio was followed. Unbeknownst to him, rivals were tracking his every move. They were waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The clock ticked past 4 a.m. Foolio and his entourage left a club. They were headed to an Airbnb, but they never made it. Gunshots shattered the night. The parking lot of a Home 2 Suites hotel became a war zone. Foolio was ambushed. He was shot multiple times. Chaos erupted. People screamed. People ran for their lives. Foolio's life drained away. The music stopped. The rising star was extinguished. The streets had claimed another victim. The violence continued. It was a cycle of pain and revenge. Jacksonville, Florida. A city haunted by violence. Gangs ruled the streets. Turf wars were a way of life. Young men were trapped. They were caught in a cycle of poverty and despair. Julio Foolio was no stranger to this reality. He grew up in the streets. He knew the dangers. He witnessed the violence firsthand. Foolio was affiliated with a gang called 6 Block. They were locked in a bitter rivalry with two other gangs, ATK and 1200. The feud had been going on for over a decade. It was a back-and-forth exchange of violence, each side seeking revenge for past grievances. The body count continued to rise. Innocent lives were caught in the crossfire. The streets were stained with blood. Foolio's music often reflected this reality. He rapped about the violence. He rapped about the pain. He rapped about the struggle. His lyrics were a window into the soul of a young man trapped in a dangerous game. The rivalry between these gangs was more than just territory. It was about respect. It was about reputation. It was about survival. In their world, violence was the only language they knew. It was a vicious cycle that seemed to have no end. The investigation into Julio Foolio's murder was swift. Police were determined to bring his killers to justice. They worked tirelessly to gather evidence. They reviewed surveillance footage. They interviewed witnesses. They followed every lead. They were determined to crack the case. Their efforts paid off. 5 suspects were arrested and charged with Foolio's murder. Davion Murphy, Rashad Murphy, Isaiah Chance, Alicia Andrews, and Sean Gathright. Each played a role in the conspiracy. They were all part of the deadly puzzle. Davion Murphy was the alleged mastermind. Rashad Murphy and Sean Gathright were the alleged gunmen. Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews allegedly acted as lookouts. They tracked Foolio's movements. They reported back to the others. They were all complicit in the murder. The suspects were all members of the rival gangs, ATK and 1200. The motive for the murder was clear: revenge. Foolio's death was a calculated act of violence. It was another chapter in the ongoing gang war that had plagued Jacksonville for far too long. The wheels of justice were in motion. The suspects awaited trial. The evidence against them was strong, but the question remained: would justice for Julio Foolio bring an end to the violence? Or would the cycle of revenge continue?